What's going on YouTube? This is James with DS Recordings. Today we're going to take a look at how you can use Waves RBass to better make your kick and bass work together. So, this is a track by an artist called Louisa. She's one of the artists that I work with quite frequently. Let's take a listen. This one, the chorus, is we're just going to listen to the instrumental. Here it is. Alright, so hopefully you could hear in there's a lot of kick, there's a lot of bass in this track. Let's take a look at what I'm doing to each. Well, first off, let's just listen to the kick and bass together. Here we go. Alright, so there you can really hear just the kick and bass together. And for me, I could really hear the kick punches through really well, and the bass doesn't get covered up by the kick, and vice versa. So let's take a look what I'm doing. First, we'll go to the kick. Let's pull up what am I doing on the channel strip here. A little bit of a high pass at 30, and then a boost at 5K. Give it some punch. Cut out some low mid at 350, and a boosted a lot at 110. We're going to focus a lot on that low end, because on the bass here, you can see here, I didn't do too much, just a little bit of boost at 1.7K, and a little bit of a boost to warm it up at 440, and a boost at 55. So for this track, what I did to make it really work is I put the bass below the kick. What I mean by that is I'm boosting frequencies below the kick drum on the bass, and I'm boosting frequencies above the bass on the kick drum. If you don't know kind of how these frequencies work as far as how pitch goes, I'll show you. So this track is in the key of A minor. So I already got a frequency chart pulled up. As you can see here on the side, you have the note value, and then in the middle you have the frequency, and then also the wavelength length. We're not going to really worry about that. We're just going to look at note and frequency. So this track's in the key of A minor. So we're going to go to A1. A1 is at 55 hertz. And then if you go up to here, you can see A2 is at 110. A is really easy because it's always going to be a whole number. That's why, like, if you go to where is it? A4 is 440. If you ever heard we're tuning to A440, that's where it comes from. 440 is the frequency. If you don't know what the numbers next to the letters mean, that's just where it's placed on a keyboard. So like C4 is middle C on a piano, and then if you go up an octave, you get C5. If you go down an octave, you're at C3. Pretty self-explanatory there. But for this track, again, it's in A minor, so I focused on 55 hertz and then 110. To go back over to Pro Tools, the bass I put at 55, and the kick I put at 110. Oop, it went to 111. Let's fix that. There we go. All right. So now let's go over into RBass. All right. So the same thing with RBass. If you're not familiar with RBass is just a subharmonic generator essentially. You can choose what frequency you want it to focus on. So for the kick, I did 110. For the bass, I did 55. All right. Let's go ahead and hear what it sounds like without the RBass, and then we'll add the RBass in. Here we go. So just the kick and the bass. Without RBass, and now with. Without. And with. And there we go. It's really simple, self-explanatory. Real quick, just to finish up, I'm also sidechaining, compressing the kick and the bass together, sending it down this bus, listening to it with the compressor here There's a ton of videos on how to sidechain a kick and a bass together on YouTube. I won't go into that today. And then just lastly, I'm just compressing the bass with an MV2. I love this plugin from Waves. It cuts down the peaks and it brings up the lows. Very self-explanatory here. One other thing I did to the bass just real quick is I also distorted the bass a little bit and high passed it. This is what just that sounds like. My CPU will work here. Let's just listen to the bass and the regular bass. Here we go. There we go. So the only reason I did that is to add some extra harmonics in the upper range. That way when people are listening to the song through iPhone speakers or through whatever other crappy speakers people might be listening through, they'll still be able to hear that bass. All I did was add a decapitator. Inactive right now. I'll just show it real quick. Just a little decapitator from Sound Toys, giving it some distortion and just high passing because I want all the low end to be nice and clean. I just want to have the upper range distorted, so I had high pass it, excuse me, at 200, and that's it. That way you can get your kick and bass to sound good together. Just using RBass, it's a great plugin. Go check it out from Waves if you don't already have it. It really solves a lot of issues when it comes to bass and kick relationships and just making it sound a lot fatter. So that's all for today. This is James with DS Recording signing off, and I'll check you guys on the next video. Ciao.